G'day, g'day! Welcome back to another fun, adventurous episode here from the land down under, made in Australia. Last week we had learned a lot about Melbourne, and it was a lot of things to learn, a lot of beautiful places to see. But today we will be traveling in the capital city of Australia. We're going to ask you what you think will be the capital city of Australia while I introduce you to one of our two beautiful hosts today. We have on her own studio there, Sister Honey Sanchez. Sister Honey, please introduce yourself to our lovely listeners.
Hello, Paul. Good day, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our viewers and listeners tuned in here in INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight with us. I'm Sister Hani Sanchez, and I'm with my very beautiful co-host, Sister Diane Caraig.
Hello. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all our listeners and our viewers. Not as sweet as Sister Honey, but yes, I'm Sister Diane, and welcome to our show today as we are traveling to the city of Canberra. Well, we were going to ask them a question before, Kuya John. So to all our listeners and our viewers, we've been taking you all around Australia. So now to all our listeners who is there in our chat room, let us know. Do you know what is actually the capital city of Australia? If you haven't been listening to Kuya John already, then you better have to do your research. Let us know in the comments, what do you think is the capital city of Australia? And join our discussion and leave a meaningful comment so that you can be featured in our thank you videos on the following week. So please continue to send us those videos and comments to us.
But before we go
we asked Sister, earlier today, just before the show started, we actually asked Sister Honey what she thinks was the capital of Australia. And what was your answer, Sister Honey?
Okay, Brother John, my initial answer was Sydney.
I will never know. Let's just find out if it's true or not. Because we don't know, but we'd like to hear from all those anyway, what they think it is. And I give you a really good hint, okay? It's not Manila. It's a great hint for you guys. Okay, so
that's a very good tip, Brother John. Very good.
I'm sure it's going to help a lot.
All right. But before we go exploring, Paul, we continue to acknowledge our amazing supporters participating in our shows and sending in your greetings and wonderful photos. So let's watch a short video to show our appreciation to our beautiful and handsome supporters. Let's watch this.
Wow, when did Brother Louis Devad move to Melbourne? I thought he was still in Sydney. I just saw the picture.
I was going to say.
Devad family for always supporting us. Oh my goodness, nice to see them, but sad that I joined Melbourne. Didn't know. Things you learn on INCRadio. There we go.
Yeah, I saw a lot of familiar faces actually, and the Ingito family, shout out to you. They are in Perth, and we used to live there. We used to be in the same locale as them. So shout out to our brothers and sisters there in Perth. So what is to expect in our show today, Sister Diane?
Yes. So the answer to the question that we were asking our listeners and viewers today. So let's see if you have it correct. So what is the capital city of Australia? So Mr. Honey?
Well, the capital city of Australia is not Sydney. but it's Canberra. All right. So, welcome to Canberra, Australia's capital city, where natural beauty, vibrant culture, and endless adventure all come together. Nestled between mountains and lakes, Canberra offers a perfect blend of outdoor exploration, rich history, and modern charm. Whether you're hiking through lush parks, discovering world class museums, and savoring local flavors, there's always something new to explore. So, come discover what makes Canberra truly unforgettable.
Wow, indeed. And we've already been talking about what to expect for our Canberra. And of course, for our listeners and our viewers, one of the things that you will have to, of course, consider is the weather. So it depends. As we already learned last week from Melbourne, they can have 4 seasons in a day. So let's talk about what Canberra is. So depending on where you are, which months you're coming, it can be really hot or it can be really cold as well. So if you're more into the warmer weather kind of thing, so summer, we can expect it during around December to February. So average temperature is around probably 15 to 28 degrees, but it can be over 35 at some days. So it can be really quite hot. So
A
we'll
lot
see.
cooler than Sydney.
In a way, yes, that's
Yeah.
true. Because Sydney can go up to tops of 40 something.
44 last year, I
Oh,
remember.
yes.
I
I did
hit
not go out.
52 one time. I was working 52-degree heat outside.
Whoa.
52.
I wouldn't
I
even go
remember
out
that's
there for
that's
that.
Sydney. So let's talk Canberra. Canberra is a little bit more accommodating for majority of the population, shall we say?
Yes. Well, if they want a little bit more cooler, so down to the autumn time, which will be around March to May, and then we'll be having a bit of an average of 7 to 19 degrees. So that's actually for me, that's actually quite cold already.
I love that.
Much more cooler
temperature.
nights, but less a daytime temperature. So even though it's a bit cold, but at least you have the sun, I think it kind of evens out as
Mhm.
well. And of course, we're gonna move on to the winter, which is around June to August. So average temperature, it can be a -1 degree up to 12 degrees. So it is really gonna be quite cold. You need your thick jackets. You'll need your beanies, your boots, and that's why I like the winter fashion.
That's correct. It's my favorite season, sister.
Yes, I'd rather be rug up than summer when
When
I
it's
got when it's too hot. And of course, once it gets cold, then we're gonna be easing back to the spring, which is preparing for summer, which is around September to November, having average temperature of 5 to 18 degrees. And actually, because speaking about spring, we're gonna talk about more this in our show later.
Hmm.
But this is actually a good time to visit Canberra if you're into nature or you love flowers, because every year that's what they actually. I don't know, Clear John, if you have been here
Oh, man, it's
before.
beautiful. Like Canberra on the spring. I mean, that's when the whole population booms up over there of tourists in Canberra because first of all, it's got a beautiful climate. On a spring day, it's quite nice. It's not too hot, not too cold, and Canberra's got this soil that just somehow grows beautiful flowers, beautiful fat, healthy type of looking flowers, and they have a lot of scent. And in fact, they even have shows about gardening and flowers in general, which is I think what you will talk
Yeah.
about a little bit later today that they have every single spring. And also, if you're one of those, you're like myself, a vegetable gardener, because I think it's the only activity that is non-producing for me that I actually enjoy. So it's the only wasted time activity that I will do is gardening for veggies, right? I don't know. It somehow
Aw.
it feels like I'm sort of like relaxed to do it. But it's Canberra is one of the best place to grow your vegetables on a spring because everything just comes up healthy. It's
Mhm.
not you don't get the same problem with a lot of the pests that you get say in Sydney or Melbourne because it's been so many years of so many pests. Yeah, it's very natural over there. It's quite nice. So if you're growing your cabbages, your I mean I can tell other plants, but I'm starting to sound like a
Or your
really really old
chocos.
guy now. Yeah,
Chocos grow
you know,
well, very well
the
in.
cooler climate sort of thing, and they tend to be the nicer type of vegetable generally anyway. Man, Canberra is a place to go. You know what they need to do in Canberra? They have flower shows, but they should have a vegetable show. I think they should do that because
Well, I'm
I went to
sure.
one of those
Yeah.
in Brisbane. Brisbane had one of those things. I went to a park where instead of flowers, it was all vegetables, anything you can eat. Like that was the actual park. It was beautiful. I was thinking they should make more of this. I think Canberra is a prime location to be able to do that. But anyway, go ahead, continue with Canberra. Spring. I just
Yes,
thought I'd
that's
put my two
right.
cents worth there because spring is really nice in Canberra.
Definitely. So that's why, as you have already heard, I think a lot of our listeners and viewers are now being persuaded to come around the springtime to see all of the greenies and also the park come to life in there. So Canberra is really also known for its clear skies and relatively low humidity, making it great a city for outdoor activities all year round. So that is overall the weather in Australia. But of course, we are still going to give you our daily updates all around Australia. So let's find out on our weather update what can we expect all around Australia. Good day, and here are weather updates for today. From the city of Sydney, it will be a maximum of 22 degrees, turning cloudy. And moving down to the city of Melbourne, it will be a maximum of 25 degrees, considerable cloudiness, and a couple of morning showers, followed by a little rain in the Arbor. And moving on to the sunshine city of Brisbane, it will be a max of 26 degrees, humid with at times of clouds and sun. And of course, going to the city of Perth, we can expect a top of 22 degrees, plenty of sunshine. And moving on to the city of Adelaide, we can expect a max of 28 degrees, mostly cloudy. And now traveling to the city of Hobart, it will be a maximum of 19 degrees, cloudy with a shower in the area. And going to our capital city of Canberra, which is our topic for today, we are expecting a maximum of 22 degrees, considerable cloudiness. So it's going to be a little bit chilly. Last but not the least, our warmest city of Darwin, it will be a maximum of 36 degrees, very, very warm, mostly cloudy, and a couple of showers and thunderstorm in the Arbor. And that is our weather all around Australia. I am Sister Diane Karai, and see you again next week.
All right. Thank
I
you
love
so
the background in that one. Did you see the background, all the pine? Believe it or not, we take it for granted. But worldwide, very few people get to see that kind of pine tree. Did you know that? Anyway, I'm a tree person too. I like trees. But yeah, I'm surprised there was no cockatoos in the back because they love to eat those pines. Those
Oh,
white cockatoo?
it was
That's
a
their
very quiet
favorite
day
food.
during that time.
I was
That's
gonna
their favorite
say that
food.
was a
Anyway,
very fast travel, Sister Diane.
I know
Welcome back to
she
Itineraries
teleports.
Radio. You
That's one
know,
of her great skills. Sister Diane's a teleporter as well.
that's
So
right.
one day she will teach us. We'll have a segment on teleportation. But
That's
anyway, back to what we're doing here in Made in Australia, Sister Honey.
yes. Thank you for that update, Sister Diane. Now let's time to check out our activities around Australia.
Good day, mate. I am Sister Al from the local congregation of Coogee. I know you are as thrilled and excited as I am for another round of bulletin updates featuring various activities in the land down under. Buckle up and be ready for lots of fun, enjoyment, and inspiration as we look back at activities fostering camaraderie and extending acts of kindness to our communities. Here are the featured activities this week. Brethren from the local congregation of Knox City sweat it out as they partake in various outdoor sports and physical activities. Initiatives like this remind us the importance of keeping ourselves physically active and enhancing our well-being. Looks like the brethren had so much fun under the sun. Everyone deserves a good meal and a good rest after this. Good job, Knox City! Are you keen to learn more about music? Our brothers and sisters from the group worship service of Espiritu Santo and CEBSI took part in a music workshop led by the choir directress of the District of New South Wales, where they were taught some lessons on music theory. Wow! For sure, this activity improved the brethren's knowledge and appreciation towards music. Well done to our brethren in Vanuatu. Various local congregations from the District of Queensland came together to watch the third installment of one of our well-loved Christian films, Guerrero 3, Lalaban Hanggang Dulo. I can only imagine the inspiration and learnings the brethren had after watching this film. For sure, some of them did shed some tears. Am I right? Well, I'm not gonna spoil it to you if you have not seen it. So, when is our next film showing? A round of applause to our featured local congregations and districts this week. It was indeed heaps of fun, excitement, and heartwarming moments. Mark your calendars for the upcoming activities that we can be a part of. November 23, INC Giving School Volunteering Program, Penrith. Animal Appreciation, Melbourne. Spelling Bee, Stirling. Animal Appreciation, Midland. November 24, First Aid and CPR Seminar, Minchinbury. ACMA Amateur Radio License Examination, New South Wales. Drawing Tutorial, Armadale. Socializing, Palmerston City. Nature Walk and Socializing, Dandenong. And that's a wrap. So, shall I see you next week for another round of bulletin updates? Keeping you in the loop and updated on activities happening in the land down under.
What a great bunch of activities to watch. I mean, last week was the Guerrero 3. That was really good. I had to report from outside, but I can hear the crying in the back. Then I can hear the
Aw.
laughing in the back. Then I can hear they did this. I hear people doing this. Woo! Apparently, it was a lot of interesting. I was hearing them doing it. So the audience was actually really taking part. Was really into the actual movie itself. So yeah, like what Sister L was telling us, she's a cute little sister, isn't she? Oh, I wonder who her parents are. They must be proud of her. Anyway, he's an old man
course.
talking again. Anyway, she really presented them really well. But the just to see all the brethren, to see them all together, and also Knox City when I remember Knox City when there was just one house. I still remember I was still in Melbourne back then. Now it's like it's such a big group of people. All the activities happening. It's a lot of fun just to see this thing. By the way, I would like to acknowledge also today there was an activity by the Binhi, which are the youth of the church not yet baptized. Okay, they had an activity today that was held in Minchinbury House of Worship. It was I think they did a board game sort of thing. So I know my daughter was there. So that was the local congregation of Kellerville and local congregation of Dean Park. So well done to you. I believe they all had a lot of fun. We had to go out and get ice cream for them, I think, because it was so hot today, but they enjoyed it nevertheless. So kudos to you. Those of you from those two local congregation, congratulations on that activity. And we are so proud of the youth inside the Church of Christ. So we are very proud speaking as a parent. Thank you very much to you, Sister Diane.
Well, Brother, you just reminded me actually of our recent activity. Sister Honey, we should be giving a shout out as well to our very own local congregation for having celebrated the local anniversary last Friday night, and we did an activity. Can you just give us a bit of, because I've heard it was really fun. The young members really enjoyed all the games that they did. So what was one of them that you did?
That's right. So it was the 40th anniversary of our the Sydney local congregation, and we did learn Tagalog activities. So it was more on basic Tagalog phrases and greetings, church jargons as well. And then after that, we had a spelling bee as well. So that was in English.
Okay.
So at least
it was Tagalog as well.
At least it caters for both English and Tagalog speakers. So I think everyone enjoyed, and they're requesting for a similar activity for next year.
Yeah. Well, I
We do
really
this activity in our local congregation too.
different language. Sorry, you're done.
No, that's a really. I want to implement that in our local congregation, like the basic Tagalog skills, the basic language, and that's the beauty about inside the Church of Christ. We had some of these activity that involves all communities. You see the activity that was held in the Republic of Vanuatu in Espiritu Santo. They were teaching them how to sing. They were teaching, these are the things that they had no exposure to previously to us being part of their lives. But now Espiritu Santo, Vanuatu in general, they inspire us. So we do the activities and they do it. And then they
Even
do
the music
activities that we
videos
want to do it. So,
it was really nice.
That's right. I think they got recognition for that as well, Sister Diane.
Definitely.
shout
Well,
out to all
speaking
our
of
brethren in Vanuatu.
yeah. Yeah, well, speaking of all these languages, Kuya John and Sister Honey, that's why I open up our topic. It's because every week we have our favorite segment, which is, it wouldn't be a Made in Australia without learning some Aussie slangs. So let's watch Brother Morgan as he teaches us another Aussie slang for our listeners and our viewers to learn.
G'day mates, it's that time again. Let's learn Aussie slang. We Australians like to shorten our words. And just between you and I, a quick way to sound Aussie is by adding either an O or an E sound to an already abbreviated word to further shorten it. Some of these words include servo. Simply a servo is a gas station. The word has been shortened from service station to servo. Ambo, an ambulance officer. Arvo, not to be confused with avo, which is an avocado. Arvo is how us Aussies refer to the afternoon. So when you visit here in Australia, try using some of these. You'll sound Aussie in no time. That's our Aussie slang for this week. I'm Morgan, and see you again next week.
So our regular listeners will be a full income Aussie soon enough if they keep listening every single week. I mean, you get Brother Morgan, you can't get any more Aussie than him. And also, I met him. He's such a good guy. He's such a nice guy. He's a really bright young man, very masculine. That's what I like about the guy too. And he's very, very down to earth, very Aussie. Like, if you want to learn the culture in Australia, the way we speak in general, he's probably the best person to listen to. So every week, make sure you don't miss out. And then soon enough, you'll be Australianized. Oh, how should he said
Very
everything
friendly too, Kuya John, and
Oh,
he is
extremely.
actually really enjoying some of this.
Yeah.
He actually made the scripts by himself to kind of really help our listeners and our viewers to be able to learn more about the Australian culture, how we speak, and that's why giving you already the tips how to be Aussie in a day.
So when you go to Canberra, you make sure that you stop by the servo and don't wait till the arvo because otherwise you might run out of fuel. And so make sure that you use all those words. And you go to a service station, you pay for your petrol station. You pay and then you just go g'day. You go inside and say g'day. Don't be shy because eventually it become a norm part of your vocabulary. So especially those who are newcomers to Australia, I'm a big believer in assimilation. So assimilate as quickly as you can. It'll be a great example, especially in Canberra, because that's where the powerhouse are. That's where all the government officials are. So the more they see it, the better it is that the Australia is a beautiful melting pot of different cultures. But at the end of the day, they all learn to assimilate to become true, become Australia. So thank you very much, Brother Morgan.
Well, Sister Hannah, I think you still have what is your favorite Aussie slang so far?
I have one.
Oh,
Sister Diane.
okay.
It's something to do with food. It is what Brother John was eating before the show. It's called a sanga. A
Ooh,
sanga.
senga. What is a senga?
It's a short term for sandwich.
Oh,
Sister Honey, I'm surprised how many people still don't know that just came into the country. They still don't know what a sanga is. Go get yourself some sangas. They don't know it. I was surprised.
yes, senga. Kuya, without the accent and you say it to me, all I can think of is the Tagalog term sanga. So to all our listeners and our viewers,
What is sanga? What's sanga?
Sanga
sanga?
is
branch. Three branch.
How'd you get sanga from morning to? That's kind of weird. I don't know how you get the word sanga, but anyway, yeah. What's your favorite, Sister Diane?
Oh, there's too many to count
just one.
already.
Right?
There's another one, Yui.
Oh yes, that one's a
Yui.
good one too.
Us drivers.
Yeah, that's like what Brother Morgan was saying. Just add an O and E at the end of the stuff.
Yeah,
Yui. Yui is short for U-turn.
Yes.
U-turn.
That's correct. What would be my one? I'd say a snag. A snag and a barbie. I like.
Oh, that's very Aussie, yeah.
I like.
Not up to that level yet.
Yeah. You
I
can
guess
just
only
imagine
in
somebody
the
wearing
today Arvo sort of level.
you can sort of when you say the word just gonna throw some snags in the Barbie, the first thing you can think of is somebody with with the cork hat, with the cork to get the flies away, slippers and shorts, and a singlet. That's straight away as soon as you hear that word. I
That's
said it.
very Aussie. Yeah,
I know,
that's
I
what
know.
we do during Australia Day, and when we
Mm,
have, we just want to have spend time with the family, and even us at church. That's actually one of our Christian family organization activity.
mm.
We do those barbecue just to spend our family day to one another. So, to all our listeners and our viewers, what has been your favorite Aussie slang? Let us know in the comment below, or if you have of your own, let us know as well. We want to know. We want to learn as well from you. Aside from from Brother Morgan, he's been doing a great job. Shout out to you, Brother Morgan, for always providing those Let's Learn Ozang every week. And
And
before we go on
yeah,
a short break, we just want to give a quick shout out. Sorry, Kuya John,
that's all
because
right.
we have a lot in our chat. So
Mm,
I've seen
let's hear that.
Brother Noli and his beloved wife, Sister Linda
Hello po, Kanoli.
Esperanza. They're here.
Hello
Hello
po.
po. I saw also Brother Daniel Diaz, and hello po, hello po.
Hello po,
Thank you for
Kadani.
joining us. We have quite a bit from Altona and Shepperton. We have Violet Mercado. Hello po, Ka Joseph. Hi, Sis Bernie. We have Carl Medina. Happy viewing. God bless from Hobart. Oh, we have people from
Hello,
Tasmania.
Hobart.
Hello po.
And also, every week they are always supporting us. Brother Jojo and his family. Brother Jojo Villapana. Hello
Thank
po,
you so
hello.
much
Jojo,
po.
we'll see you next time. We get there.
And we also have Virgin Mabulak. Happy Sunday to my sunset Mabulak. Hello. And happy viewing as well from the local of Adelaide from Troy de la Paz. Sorry if I mispronounce it. But thank you as well. So please keep sending in your greetings and joining us in our topic discussions for today. So please continue to stay tuned because you're still watching Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio, one of the official satellite studio of INCRadio, and we will be right back.
Welcome to Canberra, Australia's hidden gem nestled between nature and culture. Whether you're exploring stunning lakes, lush parks, or rolling hills, Canberra offers endless outdoor adventures. Pay your respects at the Australian War Memorial, a powerful symbol of the nation's history and sacrifice. Step inside world-class museums and galleries where art, history, and culture come to life. Discover a vibrant food scene with cozy cafes, trendy restaurants, and local markets that showcase the best of Australian cuisine. Relax in one of many beautiful parks or gather with friends for quintessential Aussie barbecue. And of course, don't miss Parliament House, the heart of Australia's government where nation's future is shaped. Canberra is more than just a capital. It's a city where history, nature, and modern life blend seamlessly. And of course, while you're in Canberra, come and visit our local congregation here in Canberra and meet all the brethren to show and explore what Canberra has to offer. Come and visit Canberra now. Your adventure starts here.
Welcome back to Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio. That was
What
a very sneaky
beautiful. That was really caught me off by surprise there. I was really mesmerized by Canberra there. I saw some of the activities that you can do there as well, especially that flower show. But let's give a little bit of a background about Canberra. By the way, while I'm reading this, I'd like to know if everyone know where Canberra is actually located, which I'm going to read anyway in a minute. So tell you where it is. Most people don't know where it is, Canberra. They
Yeah.
just assume, just Canberra. It's somewhere in outside of New South Wales, but actually not. Okay, so it's actually here. I'll let you know a little bit more about it. Canberra is the capital city of Australia, as you all know, located in the southeastern part of the country in the Australian Capital Territory, or the ACT. It was purpose-built in the early 20th century to serve as the seat of government, situated between the two largest cities of Sydney and Melbourne. We'll tell you about history about that in a little while too. Known for its spacious tree-lined streets, Canberra is home to many national institutions, including Parliament House, the National Museum, and the Australian War Memorial. The city has a small but growing population and is known for its high quality of life, abundant green spaces, and focus on education, research. Let's also watch the short video to we already that already. We looked at what Canberra has to offer anyway. But you know what? One of the things that I saw there in the on that Made in Australia segment was the Floriade. I think Sister Diane, you just went to that, and just telling people that now if they come to Australia, they probably want to move to Canberra because it has one of the highest living standard. Actually, people don't it gets forgotten, but it actually has a very high living standard, a lot of space, very safe. If you like to drive, it's impossible to get lost because the roads are grid, really easy, and there's plenty of things to do. And if you don't want to do too many things and just relax, there's plenty of places to relax and also be with nature. So,
Yes.
Sister Diane, when you went there, you went to that massive show that I'm usually not into, but once I got in there, it's like, whoa, this is really great. Tell us all about the experience in Canada.
That's right, good John. Well, that's what I've been telling all of you earlier, and hopefully for that little sneak peek is every year Canberra actually does this what they call Floriade. So it's they showcase all these wonderful flower beds and they decorate it, and every year it's always different setup. So it's always wonderful to see all those colorful and wonderful flowers, and they even have food stalls in there as well. And to all our listeners and viewers, depending on what kind of travelers you are, there's actually different ways of getting to Canberra. So Canberra, for those just for our reference, from us here in Sydney, it's actually a 3-hour drive. And to be fair, it's a nice, wonderful drive because you can see a lot of the greeneries, you can see hills. There's a lot of things to see along the way. Even when it's during the springtime, the leaves on the leaves on the trees, they're actually colorful as well. So you have a lot of things to look at while you're driving, and you'll enjoy the drive. So if you're someone who enjoys driving, definitely driving from Sydney to Canberra would be your thing. But if you are wanting more of like, oh, I just want to lay back, they offer some packages of coaches from here in Sydney to pick you up and then drop you off after the day for the Floriade season. Or maybe if you're like Kuya John who loves plane, there's also an airport in Canberra.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
You know, sister.
Yeah.
For
People don't
3
know that,
hours.
right? Isn't it funny how no one knows that there's an airport in the capital? It's like
And how long is the travel, Kuya John?
I never flown there. I've always driven over there. I just like planes. So
Yeah.
I get the hotel. The last time I've been every time we go there, we go to different hotels. But this one I thought, no, I want to do plane spotting because it's a really one of those niche thing that people do, but people don't know it exists. It's like everyone knows about train spotting, but they don't know about plane spotting. So people just go and watch planes, and I'm one of those weirdos that do it anyway. I like it. So, I decided to get a hotel in right at the bottom at the airport. So it's a Vibe hotel at the airport. It's really really nice. From just go to the car park of the hotel. You can just watch the plane going past. Or if you want to, you can walk because there's factory outlets right next to the airport as well. So you can go and if you can, like my wife and daughter will go off shopping there, and I'll just go off and sit there with my coffee and just watch the coffee fly by.
Aw.
Smell the av gas coming through
They should definitely go to Canberra.
It's
Yeah,
just the
Go back to
sound.
Canberra.
We should.
The sound of the aircraft in Canberra, at airport in Canberra, it's just so nice. I just love it. It's really, really beautiful. And it's and we've been there for the Floriade as well. And I believe if you've been to one, it doesn't mean you don't have to go again because it's so different every single
year.
year. And
Different.
even the food, apparently, they have a little restaurant inside there, like made up there. Whoever gets the rights to rent that particular space. So you go in there. Just gotta warn you though that if you're gonna eat there, you can bring baon, bring your own lunch. But if you're gonna eat there, it's quite a bit. It pretty is expensive. But you know what? You're actually paying for what you're getting because the quality of food is quite high. So
Yeah.
you're there in the middle of the garden, eating outdoor and having your cup of coffee and with a really high quality steak and veggies.
The
right there.
ambience is what you're
It's
paying
good.
for.
Well, to be fair, the
Yeah.
entrance to the Florida itself is actually free. You're
Yeah.
only paying for the food and anything that you
Little rides and that, yeah.
or some flowers. And actually, even this year, Kuya, they even added like some entertainment. There was someone they had for like singing, so you can have like a bit of ambience around while you're like if you want to take a rest because it is a bit of a walk,
Yeah.
probably at least a good hour or more to because you keep stopping. You want to take photo as Kuya John said, every year it's different. The setup is always you want to take photos at different stops.
Yeah. Also be careful when you go there because I get in trouble from my daughter doing this because I think if I like something, there's a lot of flowers. I'll pick a few flowers, And then don't
Oh,
do that. Don't do that because you get in trouble. Because I got in trouble from my
yeah.
daughter, not from the guys inside. But they apparently we're not allowed to pick the flowers. I didn't know that. I thought you could pick them because they're so pretty. Because
No, Kuya.
it'll die anyway. You might as well pick it up when it's alive. So I picked sunflowers.
That's a very good point. I wonder what they do after.
But maybe after the event, not
No,
during
but
the whole time, or else it
uh,
will be gone.
but they'll be going out already. But I haven't advised. Don't do what I did. I'm just saying that just follow the rules when you go inside, okay? Because I was just lucky. I just sort of got away. But my daughter said, "Dad, where'd you get those flowers from?" There,
It's from
right
there.
there. No,
From around the corner. There's
it's all around
plenty
you.
everywhere.
Well, Kuya John, it seems like you've been around Canberra a fair bit as well. Maybe for our listeners and our viewers who has family and who has a daughter like yourself, has children, what if they're gonna go out on a trip
Oh,
to Canberra? What would be probably a simple itinerary, or what would
oh,
be your go-to to give them a
It's simple itinerary. I would always suggest this. If you got family, especially young, even if you're not too young, even if they're teenagers, it's still pretty cool. There's a place there called Questacon. So it's a science museum. So you get to see a lot of the robotics, a lot of physics put into practice. And so if you're into that kind of like a little bit of intellectual, or even just to practice the brain a little bit, or to just manage to get your curiosity running, so that you go when the kids go home, they get curious about science and they want to do something. Questacon is a good place to start. But if you want them to also learn, about the importance of how the world will run, I would really strongly suggest that they go into the Parliament House and sit down and watch some of the proceedings that happen, some of the question times, because then you can compare how Australian government run at the Parliament compared to other parts of the world, and maybe that'll get you curious about how the actual world really runs, because that will make a difference in how you lead your life. Okay, so I would like for me, unfortunately, some people say it's unfortunate. When I got in there, everything. I'm one of those people that I just go extreme when I see things. I said, well, they run it differently. Another country runs it different. So who runs the world? Then I try to find out, and I look at the United Nations, I look at World Economic Forum, I look at everything. It started when I was 10 years old, because I went to the Parliament House and saw the way they behave. I saw the way that, and then I got to compare them to other parliament when I get to see the on the TV show, because we didn't have the internet. That's how old I am. We didn't have the internet back then. So when it came on the television, because they run it differently. And now 400 years later, I'm really really I'm a very paranoid and anxious man, thinking how is the world being run. But it's very interesting, because at least you're living a world where you're not blinded. You don't live in a matrix. You actually go and think, and
Yeah. Well,
those two
Kuya,
things will make
as
you
you
think.
said, it's
Love
a
it.
really good I think it's a very nice experience that you actually get to
Mm.
go inside the parliament, because we're just used to seeing it on TV.
That's right.
But when you actually go inside, and even though it's empty, but having the feel there, it's kind of invigorating feeling, and it's a very different, like you feel like you're a part of something.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, they actually allow you in some cases, if they're actually having a meeting there, you can actually walk in and listen to how they actually conduct the meeting. But obviously, there are some that they're not going to allow you, but they
Just don't barge
actually
in the
encourage.
door. Make sure you
Yeah.
don't just barge in the door, because the prime minister will kick you out. Hey, I'm trying to run a country here.
Yeah, because I remember when we went there, they even told us that, oh yeah, next week, they're actually having a meeting here. You guys can come around this time. And I said, oh, they actually encourage, which is nice, because it
Yeah.
means they're really very welcoming and they're open to the
Eh,
public about it.
You know what? It's our government, for the people. So it's good that that's how the country is transparent. When you can actually go in and see how everything is being run. And to save people time, they even televise it now. But that's how you run a fair and free government. You go and make sure that you can observe the actual proceedings itself. And in Canberra, thank goodness, it's a seat of power, and we have the opportunity to go there and learn directly. I mean, we're just talking about Parliament in general, but that's what Canberra has to offer. It actually let you understand the world, and not just for holiday. You can also do it for holiday and relaxation, but actually to learn to understand how things run in this country as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, one
Canberra
thing
is
I
beautiful.
remember about the Parliament House is that there's a roof garden.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
still there?
There is?
John?
I
There's
didn't know
No,
that.
I was like, a roof garden?
Really?
Really?
That's interesting.
Oh,
Because there's a roof
I
garden.
haven't seen that one.
And then, yeah, there's like the background is really good. It's like a landscape of little hills here and there.
Yes.
So
Nice.
that's one thing I remember. I have to look for my photos.
Yeah,
Which
so we can
was
show them next time.
14, 15 years ago. That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I also kind of mesmerized me is, I think during that time when we we took some of our friends there to go see the parliament. Is they're actually having a parade. So the
A what?
army, I think, like, yeah, they were having a parade, like the
Inside.
no, outside of the parliament.
Oh,
They
okay,
were
okay,
walking
yeah.
around.
Actually, it's
So
not a
they were
protest.
doing like the parade. It was really wonderful to watch, and they were really like on point. They were all walking all at the same time, stepping at the same time, like as if like,
Ah,
there was probably like
military parade. A military parade.
yeah.
Like a tattoo. I didn't know that's what you were talking about. That is so impressive to watch, wasn't it?
It was. That's why I just stayed up there watching to finish the whole thing because they go around. They come up from the basement and then they go around the parliament and then go back to the basement where they came from.
It's
And
like a
then they
toy,
did
like
a
toy
little bit of
soldiers.
yeah. But it was nice because I was just amazed on how precise they were. Like they were holding some armor in them and the way that they were positioning themselves. Someone's guiding them, but they were on point in terms of like the way that they stand. They're very standing tall, and then they step all at the same time. I was just like, wow.
That is
You know what?
beautiful
I grew
discipline.
up in that environment. Because my father, my late father, was a staff sergeant in the army, so we used to watch him do the drills all the time. And then, even though I used to see quite a lot, you just never get sick of it because you know why? There's so much discipline involved in getting that timing right. So much, yeah, they'll get in trouble if they get it wrong in the first place. But the fact that they have the really strong discipline and practice nonstop, um, it's quite a spectacle to see, isn't it? It's really great to see.
Well, that's why I was amazed. And the Sister Honey, when we teach our young children during performances, getting them in sync is a challenge.
That's true.
So that's why I get so amazed. But that's the funny thing. In terms of when we have our church activities, right, and we have our young members at church, they're doing the singing and dancing presentation. During rehearsal, they move a lot. They have the attention span is very short.
Short.
But on the actual performance, when you
Yes.
see them,
Everyone's patient. Everyone's there in it.
and
Yeah.
they are on cue when
That's
they
right.
perform
It's
very
very,
well, and you're like,
it's very impressive, isn't it, how they do that? It's funny how you're comparing the the military to our kids in children's worship service.
and
It's
you see
really
all
funny.
the parents at the front. They're like all have their camera.
Yeah, yeah,
Proud
that's
parents.
me.
Correct.
Yeah, by the way, you know what? I've answered where I will take my family, as a family man to go. How about for young people like you, the Kadiwa, or the baptized member, who are 18 years over? What would you do, unmarried? Like, what would you do if what would you suggest people should go? For example, I know we have a sister Ivy who's planning to go to Canberra. What would you advise her where she would go if she went there? What would you do? Just as she was Kadiwa, what would you be advice place to go?
Oh, well, it was very different
Mm.
if what they're planning to do. So for example, if it's probably after eventually they have family, I think one, especially basing on my experience with my parents, they love to go shopping. So
Mm.
the factory outlets is a really good place to go around in Canberra, and especially I think it's really good, much better than Sydney because they have more stocks.
That's true. Less people in
Yeah.
Canberra. That's why.
So you'll find a lot of, I think, the fashion that you need, especially on your sizes or availability, much more available in there. And also they have a lot of, as we've seen in the video before, they have markets there on the weekends, especially. There's quite a few that you can go around Canberra, and you can see a variety. It's not just food that they offer, but also like all those little things that sometimes you don't even think you need them, but when you see it, oh, that's really cute, I'm gonna buy
Oh,
that.
I
That's
don't
a
know what
nice
that's
thing
called.
at home.
That's called impulse shopping. Oh, I didn't know I needed this. I don't have these earrings.
Yeah.
You just go
Oh,
buy it.
it is.
I
But
don't have
I
any
guess
green.
for the really young adventurous ones, and if you really wanted to do a bit more in Canberra, and this is something I think I've mentioned to you, Kuya John and Sister Hannah before. This is a while ago, pre-COVID, because we used to look after before it was a local congregation, it was a group worship service. So Sydney used to look after Canberra, and
Yeah.
we were asked to help them during a special gathering. And so I took it as an opportunity to take myself for a little day trip. and
We need that, sister.
yes, we need that, just our time on our own. And if you're a bit adventurous like me, so what I did is actually, yes, I went to the War Museum first, and next to it is actually the peak, which is the Mount Aisley. So it's a very short, it's not too short, but it's a short hike if you're into that kind of adventure. It's 30 minutes one way. but it builds up. So once you reach the top, you get to see the whole city of Canberra. Normally in the tours, they will just take you straight to the peak to take photos for all the tourists. But I think it still feels a little bit different when you have done the walk yourself, because you see all the different heights, you've seen the different views
Yeah.
all around.
And you
That-
earned it. You earned the view. You actually
yes,
earned it. I'm
definitely.
here. I'm being rewarded with this view because I earned it, not because they drove you up there. Yeah. It's like I don't
Exactly.
know. You just take
And
the
there's
view.
quite a few
Yeah.
more mountains actually in Canberra. And the one that I've been wanting to come back, I haven't been able to yet, is the Black Mountain,
Yeah.
which was recommended to me by the husband of Sister Beth, actually in
Oh,
Canberra. They were very lovely people. That's where I stayed at when I was in Canberra. I'm sure you remember her, Kuya John,
Oh, of
right?
course,
She used to
yes.
host with us.
Very good friend of mine. The family is a wonderful and beautiful family. The kids are
Indeed.
beautiful as well. I love them. They're really great. I can't wait to see them again next time I go to Canberra. I used to actually go spend quite a bit of time in Canberra because I would go there, say maybe twice a month,
Mm.
because for the teachers to be assigned for teaching children's worship service, they prefer that it's as much as possible a male and that can drive. And because I'm older, I tend to get most of the. But anyway, I used to go there quite a bit, and what I found about the Canberra, the brethren in Canberra, they're so welcoming. They will always have something for you. Like I remember I going there, it's random. You suddenly have a big meal, like out of nowhere. They'll always have something, but once in a while they have this big meal. Like, is it someone's birthday? No, it
yes.
just happened to be a big meal day today. That's all. You might not know anyone. The first day you get there, they'll come and see you if they've never seen you before. They'll make you feel welcome. It's that's why I feel that in Canberra no one actually feels left out because because everyone just makes the effort of actually trying to meet everybody. And I still remember Canberra back in the early 90s where they used to just hold it in the library. Just small number of people go to the library and they have the worship service right there. And now look at it, man. It's like it's such a wonderful local congregation, and it's just growing, strength by strength. I know the Iglesia Ni Cristo continue to go strong, but Canberra is a really good example because it's it's isolated really from the major cities, but somehow they still grow the
Mm.
local congregation. So greetings to all of you there in Canberra, and for those of you who are curious, who are actually watching this show, who are not yet members of the Church of Christ, feel free to reach out to us, and we can let you know where they're holding the house of work, the places of worship, and you can reach us through incmedia.org. There's always somebody answering your questions there on live chats. So incmedia.org is where you need to go to. Other than that, Canberra, hello to all of you.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Brother John. So please stay tuned because you are still watching Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia Satellite Studio, one of the official satellite studio of INCRadio. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Iglesia Ni Cristo Radio, the voice of truth.
Why is it hard for us to kind of shift from that comparison? And how do you shift?
But the thing is, sometimes we need to remember that we cannot be carried over by what the society expects of us and what others are also achieving. We need to focus on us, on ourselves.
For those that are struggling with, the reaction part is show up for yourself, because if you don't show up for yourself, who will?
Looking for more conversations that matter? INC Radio Chatline, Saturdays at 2 p.m. Tomorrow Standard Time and Australian Eastern Standard Time at INC Radio DZEM 954 on YouTube.
And welcome back. You're still listening to Made in Australia, brought to you by INCRadio Australia, one of the official satellite studio of INCRadio. And of course, now that we've talked all about Canberra, the fun is not stopping there, because we're going to go to our favorite segment, which is the game time. And of course, we're going to be asking you a few of some fun facts. And to start off, so we've been talking about nature, and to all our listeners and viewers who loves a little bit of adventure, so you can check in, have a look in the internet. Maybe you can do a bit of your own search. So for this first question that we are going to play, what's the tallest peak in Canberra? So if we can just kindly show that in our show as well. The first question. Yes, so what's the tallest peak in Canberra? So to all our listeners and our viewers, type in your answer because as we have mentioned, for those first person who will get the right answer, you will get your INC Radio merchandise mug. So please make sure that you include your full name and your local congregation so that we know who to send it to. Okay. So again, what's the tallest peak in Canberra? Do you have a bit of a guess?
Oh, I'll tell you, I got this one a little bit confused because I was thinking of the tallest mountain in Australia, which is Mount Kosciuszko, and I assumed that was the tallest peak as well. But apparently, no, it's not the peak. It is the mountain, tallest mountain. Um, but yeah, I thought it's Mount Kosciuszko because that's at the Snowy Mountain, which is also where
Yeah.
Canberra. This is the Snowy Mountain is part of Canberra. I've always been curious about that. I know we have to go through Kuma to go to Snowy Mountains, but I don't know if it's actually Canberra, Snowy Mountains. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll give a bit of time to our listeners and our viewers because there is a lot of comments though. Maybe Sister Honey, if you want to do a little bit.
Yes. We have some greetings here. Hello po to Ka Noli Esperanza from Brother Daniel Magno. Hello po Sister Sam from Brother Jello Rupido. I've got a few answers about for the question.
Yeah, I
What is
can
the
see
tallest
that.
peak in Canberra? Hello po to Sister Rodora Doctor. Hi po ka Donald from Mabs Magno. Hi po Kuya Josh from Clar Sumait. And the answers to our question, Sister Diane.
Okay, so
Let me get it right.
what's
Let me
the
get it right.
tallest peak in Canberra? Maybe we can ask our friendly Korea Tech to play. What is the answer? Let's see if they got it right.
Let's see.
It's Mount Majura. I see Mount Ainsley there. As I mentioned before, unfortunately, it's not quite a long peak to be able to that hike, but it's Mount Majura. So you can add that on your list. So it actually stands at 888 meters above sea level. So it's popular spot for hiking, biking with beautiful views of the city and surrounding countryside. So don't forget to add that in your list if you are those nature who likes to go on those kind of adventure. Because we're running a little bit of time, Sister Honey, I think we're gonna go to your question to Brother John because I'm sure Brother John would love to answer this question. So
what question are we looking at
Yeah,
now?
what is the next fun fact about
Let's see.
Canberra? So if we can play the question 3 for our viewers. So what is the question 3?
All right. So what is okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Question 3 to you, Brother John, is what is Canberra's nickname?
That's an easy one. You can't be an Aussie if you don't know what
Really?
is this. Goodness,
Does Canberra have a nickname?
Yeah,
it has to have a
apparently
nickname.
so.
Have you heard anything in Australia with no nickname? Come on, it's gotta have a nickname.
That's
that
what
one
I
there is
noticed.
a
They
race.
always have something for
do,
each.
yes.
Yeah, for
You
each
see with
city.
that one with Canberra, you know how it was mentioned that it's between Melbourne and Sydney so that they can keep a bit of peace that they're not, why is Sydney important? Why is Melbourne important? We're gonna go to war. So during the Federation, they want to make sure everything is nice and peaceful, so they did it halfway through. And of course, what did they build it in the middle of? They built it in nowhere. They built I can't believe it. Who would think about that? It's so difficult to build in the middle of nowhere. That's why they call it the bush capital. It was the middle of the bush. They decided to build the
I
capital of
see.
Australia in the middle of a bush, hence the name, the bush capital. And of
There we go.
course, don't you worry. All you who haven't been there, you're not going through the bush when we go to Canberra. It's it's well developed now. Beautiful roads, very wide roads. Impossible to get lost because it's a grid road now over there, and everything is clear, safe, and clean. It's beautiful
Yeah,
there.
so
But yeah, it's the
So
bush.
all our listeners and
capital.
viewers, sorry, Kuya John. So we'll just clarify to all our listeners and viewers to answer that question, what's Canberra's nickname? It's actually the bush capital. So just in regards to this, Sister Honey had a follow-up question to Brother John, and I find it really interesting because I'm sure our listeners and viewers doesn't know about this information as well. What was it?
Because when the last time I drove to Canberra, I noticed that there were no skyscrapers, Brother John. It was all just regular shops, houses, but there were no skyscrapers like the ones in the city, like here in Sydney. So, is there a reason for that?
Well, of course, there's always a reason for everything. There are people who do things with no reason, but this one actually has a really good reason for it. And you see it worldwide in general. All the places that are territories and not a state, it means you can never own the property that you built on the land, okay? Because that will always retain as what they call a leasehold. So you're leasing it from the government. Like for example, Vanuatu is 75 years. In Australia, the territory is 99 years. So effectively, you get to own it until you change ownership, and the 99 years sticks again. And can you imagine spending all that money trying to build a skyscraper that you'll never own? So why would you do that? So an investor side of things, why would you invest
No
so
way
much
they are
money?
able to preserve that nice.
Yeah, you're never gonna own it. So unless you change ownership, maybe on the 80th year, so it starts at 99. But why would you do that? So and plus, there's also another reason why there's no skyscraper. I would assume this is my own thoughts on it. It's because Canberra is still trying to develop. It's got so much space. Why would you have to go vertical when it's still got so much space in it? And all within driving distance. Like within an hour, there's so many places to go. You actually hit the farms within the hour. So you still got plenty of spaces. So why would you have to build a skyscraper? If you have a lot of money and you want to invest, would you buy something that you will never own? Of course not. You will buy for the cash flow side of things. That's why some people invest in those places, because it's got a high cash flow generally. So the rental is higher than the actual repayment that you need to do. But getting off topic there, that is the reason where there is no skyscraper in Canberra.
As I was saying, we got a little of history and business advice from Frijan all in one go. So
if you didn't stop me, the conspiracy theories was gonna start. So lucky you stopped me there, Sister Diane.
Yes. Thank you so much for answering my question, Kuya.
Yeah, but we just have to read a few more on the live chat because before we wrap up, just to say hello to all of them. So which ones are they, Sister Honey?
That's right. So advance happy birthday po to Sister Jessa Villapanye. Hello po to Ka Elmer and to Ka Andrew. Hi to Sister Violet and Sister Hazel. How are you po from Brother Joshua Magno? Happy Sunday to everyone watching. Hello, Sister Bernie. And hi, Ate Bianca. We miss you here. And hello po to your family. So thank you so much. Hello also to Sister Virgie and to Brother Matthew from Brother Emir.
Yes. And before that, before I give it back to you, Sister Honey, I just want to do a big shout out to our multimedia director, Brother Harold Dulai, who is celebrating his birthday today. So a big shout out to Brother Harold. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kuya.
You have done so much work for the multimedia. We appreciate everything that you do. I don't even know if this guy sleeps because I will message him any time of the day and night. He replies.
You know what? And I can't believe he's already just hit 21. So he turned 21 today. Good on you, Brother Harold. But in all seriousness, happy birthday, Brother Harold. I find him really inspiring. When he first came into the radio till now, he just gives his all. I think it's just, how they say, how you do anything is how you do everything. So it just shows how great he is at what he does. And he loves it because of his service to God. I believe that's the reason why he's so good at what he does, because of his service to God.
Yes, so happy birthday. And look at our time, Sister Honey. We'd love to. Yes, I know.
Yeah, so we would like to read our final hashtag winner, Sister Diane.
So they will find that out next week because we still need to count it.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for tuning with us this afternoon. So from cultural institutions like the National Gallery and Australian War Memorial to outdoor activities and adventures like hiking and lake activities, Canberra offers a rich variety of experiences for all types of travelers. So Canberra's relaxed yet vibrant atmosphere will ensure a memorable visit. It's a city that invites discovery, and there's always something new to explore. So before we finish, we would like to thank our CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Eranio V. Manalo, and of course, our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much for your love and your support. So to all of our viewers and listeners, see you all next week. Thank you so much for tuning with us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Never will I let go of loyalty. Never will I let go.